Hello.
Hey, last segment of our session. Hi, Robert, and hi, Eric.
Said hi, Mom.
As promised, we were going to talk about this law of attraction shit. I've been trying so hard to win the lottery, and I have put my intentions out there, and it's not happening. What the heck? No, I actually haven't done that. But seriously, a lot of people say, hey, I put my intentions out there. I put my intentions out there, but I'm
Yeah.
not getting that boyfriend. I'm not getting that raise. I'm not getting
Well,
that.
Eric says,
So,
here's the thing. People go and they create these intentions, and then they just sit there and wait.
oh, yeah.
He said, well, shit ain't gonna happen if you just sit there and wait. He said, you're in this physical world to participate, right? So he said, this is how you manifest things, right? You state an intention, you put it out there. So in other words, you like let it go, right? And then you look for the signs that are leading you toward that intended goal.
Oh, people time are not like closed down or not aware of it.
They don't.
So
They
wait,
just they just
how do you set the intention and let it go? Can you write it down on a piece of paper and burn it and let the ashes fly up to the sky? Or
Eric said it's unique to you. For some people, that's what they do. They write it down and then they burn it.
okay.
Right? Some people they just state it and then they just like don't hold on to it anymore. So it comes from a feeling place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's saying Robert. That's what Robert does, right? I mean, I just like think of something and then I just like don't think about it anymore. I mean, not like obsess over it or anything and like worry like, oh my God, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Right?
Yeah.
Because
But
that's
but
just like living in a place where you don't have it all the time.
but then it's hard when you're asking us, Eric, to be aware of signs because that means we're going to have to be
Right.
thinking about I had this intention. Let me look for signs. I have this intention.
Yeah,
You know?
Eric said that's though about being emotionally aware, right? Because the emotion will trigger you to recognize when that sign is there, right? So Eric says, you have to keep yourself in a calm place. But Eric says, something else too that you can do, Mom,
Mm-hmm.
with intentions is, and this will help to keep it in your mind without you obsessing over it, is you can, like Eric says, how we have a word when we use the board,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a little safe word or whatever.
Right.
Well, he said Robert does this. Robert has a word that he places all of his intentions in. So whenever if there are intentions that I want to manifest as Robert, then I just say that word every day, once or twice a day, and then I know that all of those intentions that I had placed in that word, it kind of brings them back forth in my mind, right? But I never feel like worked up and nervous that that's not going to happen.
Wow, that's
It just
good.
brings it up that way. And then so because I've said that word, right? Then I'm kind of noticing those
It puts
signs.
it in your awareness for signs. Now,
Yeah,
just to
and
back up a little bit,
and Eric says, and also it's a thing of you have to take it out of your consciousness so much because that's the other thing, you have to realize that your unconscious is really what's propelling a lot of this, right?
oh, yeah.
And your conscious side should feel more calm and secure and everything.
So
And
just to back up, when we do the e-board, Eric's board, which is kind of like a Ouija board. Anyway, we don't want uninvited spirits to come in and meddle or whatever. So we say, at first we said this intention, God source, so you can make up anything you want. Please protect me with a golden bubble of protection and give me the answers that will most honor my higher good. I don't know. I can't remember what it is. But instead of saying that whole thing every time, now we just say apples.
Right.
Apples represents that whole paragraph.
Right.
And so if you have an intention, I want to raise, then you can just say puppies or whatever.
Right. And Eric says, and think, and Mom, you know what this feels like, right? When you say apples, you feel a release like, okay, I know we're safe.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Eric says if you create a word like that you put your intentions in, and you say that word, you don't have to worry about it anymore. You don't have to remember all those intentions you put out there anymore.
Right.
Because they're all in that word, right?
That's right.
And then your unconscious will start to clue you in by giving you emotional cues so you recognize when signs are coming up. Mm-hmm. And Eric says, and here's the thing that can allow you to relax is, if a sign comes up and you miss it, it's because you weren't ready for it yet. So just chill out, right? Okay. Eric says the shit's going to happen when you're ready for it to happen, right? And that's the bottom line. So Eric says it's a relationship that you're looking for, and you keep saying you want a relationship, but yet you're not fully ready for a relationship, right? Your soul is not there yet.
Mm.
Then that relationship is not going to happen until
Yeah.
you're in a place where you're ready for it.
And what if it never happened? What if you're never ready for it?
Eric says, "Well, that's fucked up, right?"
Well, so
Sorry, Eric.
what you need to have the intention of being ready
Eric,
for a
Eric said,
relationship. You need to
Eric said,
change it and say,
right,
I want to be ready for a relationship. That should
right.
be your new intention.
No, Eric was just laughing because he said it is fucked up. But he said, here's the thing about it, though. Uh, you have to sit here and stop and ask yourself the question, what is it that's keeping me from it, right? Right? And you have to
Yeah.
work on those kinds of things,
And
right?
what might those give some examples of what that might be? What might keep people from being ready for a relationship?
Well, he said it goes back to not feeling worthy of her love,
Mm.
right? Being afraid, which could tie into not feeling worthy of love, but being afraid of losing love,
Mm.
right? Because Eric says if you're afraid of losing love, it's because you're afraid you'll never get any love again
Yeah.
if it goes away, right? And then that can kind of bring you back into the not feeling worthy of it, right?
Sure.
Eric says if you feel worthy of love, though, you'll know that love will always be there,
Yeah.
so you'll never have that fear.
Mm.
Um, uh, Eric said sometimes it's because you're kind of going on what society says. I'm supposed to be in a relationship. The articles and the studies say that people are happier when they're in a relationship. Eric says, well, that's not fucking true.
It's not true for everybody. Of course
No,
not.
so that's not true for everyone.
So you don't want to go around saying, I don't have a relationship, but I must be flawed. Society says
Right?
I would be happier with a
Yeah.
relationship.
And Eric says if you felt worthy of love and you felt completely confident in who you are, you wouldn't say those things,
Mm.
right? So Eric says if you're saying those things, you need to stop and go, oh yeah, that's not true. Where did I get that from? Somebody like taught me to think that way,
Well,
right?
what about people who are real picky? Steve?
Don't
What
pick
about,
on Steve.
I know I did this already. This is the second time, but he loves it. I know he likes it.
We love him.
So we love him, and what's that all about? They can't manifest. They have the intention of finding a relationship, but they're picky.
Eric says it's hesitation, honestly. The pickiness, he said, if you want to get it to even more general, is it's a hesitation. It's stopping and thinking, well, what if this is lost, right? Goes back again to that, the fear of the loss, right? Which then goes back to not feeling worthy of it, right? And then if you don't feel worthy of it, he said, I'd said in another session, it's probably because there's something in that, person that maybe you see in yourself that you don't then like, right?
Well, like what if Steve, for example, is perfectly fit, but they will not even consider a person who is like a few pounds overweight? What's that all about? Even though they have a wonderful soul and would make a wonderful soulmate.
Eric says, for some people, it's a body image thing. I mean, obviously, if it's a few pounds over, and there's this connection to perfectionism of what they define perfectionism as. Now, Eric's not saying this, but my guys, well, maybe Eric was a part of it. They said that perfectionism tends the garden of unhappiness, right?
Mm.
I put that down in a poem.
Oh, that's so true.
And it's true. And they also said that perfectionism is an inability to see that everything is perfect just the way it is.
Oh, I love that.
So,
Steve, everyone you meet is perfect just the way they are.
I'm sorry, Steve.
So he doesn't know my address, so he can't come haunt me. Well, maybe he does. I don't know. But I love you, Steve.
He's gonna end up having his name out there.
I know.
But anyway, yeah. But I relate to Steve because I've done those things.
Yeah.
I've been picky.
Sure.
But I can tell you that for myself, a lot of it was going back to what Eric had said about not feeling worthy of love or whatever.
Well, it seems like pickiness would mean like I deserve more. So that's kind of
Eric says it's really an excuse to keep yourself from getting it.
Oh, okay.
That's very good, Eric.
Yeah, that.
I could see that. Yeah, it's like Eric says. It's like he said sometimes people like that they just like to tease themselves, right? He said sometimes it's that way, right? It's a little bit of is that word masochistic? Where they like to keep themselves from getting what they want, right? Because they kind of get a dopamine rush on it.
Oh, okay.
So he said for some people it can be that way.
So what about one of the biggest intentions that people put out there is abundance, money, abundance, whatever, even just plain old financial security. What can you
He
speak to
said,
that?
he said, well, look, he said, here's the thing that a lot of people do. They go and they pursue the abundance because and they say that they want their intention to be in abundance. But the only reason they said that is because they're so scared of scarcity, right? So ultimately, the words are just covering up what their true intentions was, which is, I don't have anything, right? Erik says, you got to fucking drop that shit, right? And you got to say it and know that you really do have everything you need, right? Because Erik says the people that have all those things, they don't sit there and worry that they don't have them, right? Because they know they do, right?
Yeah.
And even when they don't literally have, a surplus in their bank account, they still live their lives as if they do. And then ultimately, their lives have been happier, and they've always found, when they look back on their life, that they had everything they needed. Wow, so he said, you have to realize that, right? And stop chasing after something because you think that it will make you then more complete or whatever. He said, you fucking already are complete.
So basically, we have to ask ourselves, do I have everything I need?
Yeah.
And I bet more times than not, the answer is going to be yes.
Erik says you always have what you need when you really realize that within yourself, you are the source of love. And love itself is completely 100% sustainable. And it's like the sun, it's like a fusion reactor, right? It just continues to self-perpetuate, right? But Erik said most of us are living like a fission reactor where, it's like it just burns real hot for a little while and then it's gone. And then it leaves a lot of radioactivity, right?
Collateral damage.
That's a great analogy, Erik.
That is really good. You really like this kind of stuff in physics. He did really well in physics. He didn't do very well in school, but he was pretty good at physics.
Yeah.
I have to say that.
Mechanical stuff and all that thing.
And mechanical stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Faux show.
Faux
So,
show.
all right, so there was another question I was going to ask. All right, but there's some...
Erik showed you, I'm sorry, when you were sitting there thinking, Erik showed you like this visual of you looking through this giant purse and you're like, it's in here somewhere.
Oh my God, no, that's why I have small purses, because I don't want to have to dig through them.
It was like the size of a trunk.
Oh my gosh.
You were like digging in there. You like half your body went in, your feet were sticking out. You were throwing stuff out.
Oh my God. I'm one of those girls that never change their purse, maybe once, every year. And wears the same earrings every time because I'm too freaking lazy to go to my little tiny box of whatever costume jewelry and change them.
Then you just take those purses and just store them away in the attic.
Exactly, yeah, I do. So, but really, sometimes a real simple life is, as long as it's filled with love, is all we need. That we don't need to listen to society's claims that to be somebody worthy, that we need to have stuff and power.
Yeah, Erik says, if you look at a lot of the gurus and, various sages that have lived throughout life, and a lot of them people don't even know of, they didn't have a lot of material things.
That's right.
Because he says from within themselves, they knew that they had found this center and this connected to that sustainability within themselves.
Yeah.
Erik says, because really, Mom, you just really don't need a lot.
Yeah.
Material things, he said, they're fucking fun. I mean, I love
them.
Yeah.
But you mostly need love.
But it's love, He said, this is why, when we cross over, he said, a lot of people gave us hell because I was talking about how I created a house and TV and all that shit. But what they don't understand is that as a soul, when I first cross over, I still have attachments to those things.
Sure.
So I was just manifesting what I needed to make myself feel comfortable. But he says, I don't need those things anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through all of my lessons to get myself reacclimated over here as a spirit. And we don't really focus on those things anymore. Now, he said, my work is, all on, the blog members and helping people in this plane. He said, and by the way, I get asked a lot, why as a spirit do I stay connected to this realm? He said, it's because I love you all.
Yeah, because you're our spirit guide.
He said, I love humanity.
You're our go-to guy.
And I still like titties.
Oh my God. Oh no. Oh yeah.
I believe you had me say that.
Do you have any crushes on blog members?
He said a few.
Oh boy.
He said, Mom, there are boundaries, right? So, he says.
You can have crushes still.
Yeah.
She can look but not touch.
Yeah. He said, of course. He said,
That's so cute. Jillian, what do you think about that?
She said,
that's his girlfriend.
Yeah. She's just like, we don't have the same kinds of rules and things when it comes to relationships. She said, as over here, there's no such thing as possession. People, when they get into relationships, they believe they possess and own the other person. It's not like that, she said, because over here you recognize that, we're all the same. We're all the same. So when you're sitting there saying you own this person, well, you're saying you own yourself, right? And like you want to control yourself and those kinds of things. And she says, and I mean that from a place of manipulation and all that. And she says that's just not healthy.
No.
Right.
So possession is not 9/10 of the law after all.
She said it is no law.
There we go. All right. Well, I guess we'll close unless, Eric, you have anything else to say, or Jillian, about success.
They're like holding hands. They're holding hands, and then they hold their hands up, and they said, "This is success," right?
There we go. Love.
Connecting to each other, love, all of that.
And everybody remember that we are a collective, and that when you hurt somebody, you hurt yourself. We're all one. Just remember that, and absorb the love that is there in the collective. So, and Robert, you coming over Friday for a cookout?
I'll be there.
What do you want me to cook?
I don't know.
All right. Well, we'll figure out something.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Okay. See you Friday.
Okay. Bye.
I love you. And Eric, I love you so much.
I said, I love you, Mom. He's doing that again.
Oh, silly boy.
And then he's like fanning you.
Silly boy.
He's like fanning you.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm not having hot flashes.
He said you will in a minute.
Maybe I will. I don't know. We'll find out. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe if you did.
Yeah, the subscriptions keep going up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because of Eric. I love you.
Eric's so awesome.
Bye.
Bye.